Every week I put my hands on, it sounds kind of weird, get my hands on a cool piece of technology, see what I can do with it, and I make a video. If you want to find out more about me, you can take a look at christianschiller.com, or wherever you're watching this video, you can find everything else I do, subscribe, leave a comment, etc., etc. Always nice to hear from people. And if you're joining me in chat today, I know there were a few people joining me on LinkedIn, then you can also say hi. Always nice to hear from people. What am I looking at today? I'm going to look at VS Code extension packs. I haven't put a URL up because the actual URL is so long. I think you can just search for it. It's a page in the VS Code documentation. And I think that's probably the easier option, to be honest with you. It was so long, I kind of gave up trying to make it fit in that little box I have at the bottom there for the text. What is a VS Code extension pack? It's actually a collection of extensions you can bundle together for VS Code. I've been thinking about how this might be useful. I don't think I've ever really installed one. They do exist. We'll have a look in a minute, but I could feel like it would be very useful to share around a company, for example, to make, say, a recommended like programming language extension pack, that kind of thing. And I'm going to use as an example on this video, I'm going to make one that bundles a bunch of my favorite writing extensions. I wrote a blog post a very long time ago with some of these, which needs updating, and maybe this will form part of that. So let's jump into a screen share. I'm going to increase that font size. Here's that web page with the very long URL I already mentioned. An extension pack is a set of extensions that will be installed together. Kind of reiterates what I just said. An extension pack, it'll be interesting to see, yeah. So extension packs should be categorized in the extension packs marketplace category. Let's see if we can find any just out of interest. So I was. Yeah. There we go. So C# extensions, for example, are no longer under development. Okay, well, we'll forget about that one. Where is one? Extensions to help you with web development. There we go. There's one. Still doesn't actually show what's in it, but I guess if we had a quick look in the repository and had a look in here, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so we get the idea. Cool. Right, let's carry on. So how do we make one? It seems like there's nothing different from, there we go. So we use VSCode. I'm not sure if I have that installed. So let's figure out how we install that first. I'm kind of a long way down now. The VSCode generator. Now I'm halfway down the page. I'm wondering how I install it. I think it's been a long time since I used Yeoman. Okay, so how do I install it? Let's do some more searching in here. I get to do a one match. Okay, interesting. Obviously missing something, and it's not immediately obvious how to get hold of it. Yeah, this is what we want. I think your first extension. There we go. This is probably where we're going to find it. There we go. Right, that's how we get it. That was a bit missing. I like the fact I can type VSCode, and it makes me giggle. Right, where were we? Down here. Choose new extension pack option. There's actually quite a few interesting things you could do here. I don't think I've run this for quite some time in VS Code. So different types of TypeScript, JavaScript, a new color theme, new language support, code snippets, key map, extension pack. That's what we want. Language pack. These are the ones I've not actually seen before. Language pack, web extension, notebook renderer, Interesting. This will have to be explored at a later date. Okay. What type of extension do you want to create? Okay. And add the currently installed extensions. No, that'll be not quite what we want. What's the name of your extension? Let's call it the Writer's Toolkit. I'm not sure if that's a descriptive name. If anyone will be searching for that, but it'll do for now. What's the identifier? Yep, the default is fine. I'm in the wrong window again. What's the description of your extension? Okay, an extension pack optim. I guess I have to spell the American way. Yes, why not? Okay, a bunch of things happened. Do you want to open the new folder? Yes. But we're going to have to... Oh no, it's already kept the font size. That's good. Cool. So let's carry on. An extensions pack should not have any functional dependencies with its bundles of extensions. And the bundled extensions should be manageable independent of the pack. Okay, that makes sense. If an extension has a dependency on another extension, that dependency should be declared. Okay, I think some of those will be more obvious than others, but we'll figure that out as we go. Extension uninstall. If your extension has some cleanup to be done, I assume I would know if that was the case. I don't think mine is going to, but the script gets executed when the extension is completely uninstalled from VS Code. All right, okay. So that's, I mean, that is pretty much it. It's quite simple, really. It's quite simple as a process. This may not be a very long video. Categories, extension packs, we have that. Well, let's see. What do we want to install? There we go. And there's a lot there could be. Think of the essential ones that I use all the time. Let's close those down a bit. It's actually a good opportunity to go through a few of them and describe what some of them do. ASCII doc is relevant, but I suppose it's useful. Actually, to be honest with you, autocomplete for emojis, I think is... Yeah, maybe not. ASCII doc. Controversially, I may say no. Like, it's certainly useful, but I don't really use it on a regular basis. I don't do much writing in ASCII doc as much as I would like to. Auto markdown table of contents. Yeah, I don't use it that much, but actually it would be a good one to include. So what I'm wondering is we need to have this specific identifier. I'm trying to figure out how, yeah, it's the identifier, but yeah, it's right on the edge here, the copy. So let's add that in manually. Okay. All right, what else? Why? Oh, somehow. There we go. What else? Change case. Actually, this is very useful, but I will admit I found it doesn't work very well. I don't know why I still have it enabled, and you can actually see it was updated last a very long time ago. I think I wanted to take over maintenance and try and update it, but I don't think they ever replied. That's a task for another day. I'll copy markdown as HTML. That's actually quite useful. I completely forgot I even had that extension, so that is actually quite useful. Let's put that one in. CSS formatter, no. CSS dart dash dendron mark. I still have that installed. I haven't really been using that. I should disable that. .env, no. Fig. Fig was actually a great application that didn't really work as well as I hoped. I should uninstall that too. This is very therapeutic. I'm just clearing out extensions. GitHub Copilot. Yeah, well, sort of. Grammarly unofficial. That actually works quite well. I think I will leave that one out for now. HackMD. I mean, it's very valid for writing, but not everyone uses it. Indent rainbow, integral snippets. Markdown all in one. This one, definitely. Definitely. I must admit there's a couple of these Markdown extensions specifically that overlap a bit, and I'm never completely sure which ones are all adding the same functionality, but we'll carry on for now. Markdown checkboxes. I am really rediscovering a whole bunch of extensions here that I forgot I had installed. Markdown emoji, I mean, yeah, let's leave that one out for now. Footnote syntax, again. I sort of forgotten I have that. It hasn't been updated in some time. I should check some of these. I overrid the Markdown preview. Well, I didn't even realize I had that, but actually now I realize I've been using it. That I think is a good one. And to be honest with you, so far these are all more Markdown, but I think that's just because we're in alphabetical order. There's going to be some more coming soon. Markdown shortcuts. Markdown lint. Now this is interesting as well. Why does this person have a blue tick? Publishers verified. Okay. Markdown lint. I can't remember if I am using that or not. I probably should be. No, I am. So this is one that I definitely actually use all the time. That is a very useful one. So, I mean, you get the idea. It's relatively simple to do. MDX is a bit specialized. So is Mermaid. But yeah, project manager, pilot. Read time. Does that work? I'm not sure if that's working. I don't think it's still working. That was useful. Oh, it's down here, but whether it still works. I mean, yeah, hard to tell. Let's see what else we've got. No. Restructured text. Again, that kind of falls into the ASCII doc one. If I continue maintaining this pack, then maybe I would add that. But for now, let's just keep it as Markdown, I think. This brings up a whole other discussion about how, to be honest with you, the editor support for restructured text is not great. It kind of puts me off using restructured text a lot. I wish it was better, actually. So you can see how many Markdown extensions there are, but how many restructured text ones are there? Not so many. Rewrap. This... Yeah, I wish I didn't have to use that. But anyway, that's a whole other argument between developers and writers. Let's leave that one for now. Table formatter. This is actually one I do use. I don't do tables as much as I need to, but actually I'll leave that one out for now. Now, here's where we get interesting. Veil is a tool I use a lot. Controversially, I would like to include it, but this is where it gets interesting because it does have a dependency, although the extension doesn't ship with the dependency. You need to install Veil separately. So I think it's fine just to keep it as is. And I contribute to this extension. So it's a language linter. It's interesting. I mean, when we come to the stage of testing how this works, I am wondering what will happen to, well, obviously I do have it installed. I wonder, I'm actually tempted to fire up a virtual machine so we can test from vanilla because I'm interested to see what happens. Word count, that is, Pandoc. Yes, Pandoc. You can also see I maintain this. I actually need to do some work on it. That is, I mean, you cannot. The answer to most questions people have when it comes to how do I convert X to Y is Pandoc. So you've got to have it. And word count, yes, that's actually quite useful. Quite simple. Actually, does this one work? There's a lot of word counters out there for VS Code. And is this the one I'm using? Yes, it looks like I am. So that's, this is the one I think I wanted to contribute to, but it's not open source, which is annoying. Okay, so that is pretty much So how do we test this is where it gets interesting. How do we test it locally? I mean, I know how to test an extension locally. You just F5 debug, but how do you test this? I guess we could just publish it. I suppose that's the obvious step. Okay. Yep. We'll do that later. Yep. 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 Next comes the publishing. Now, I have done this before, but I have switched machines since then. I have a bad feeling. VSCode package. Wow. Okay. How did it know I hadn't changed it? Okay. I mean, I just want to... I know this is terrible, but I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, let's do that. Repository. It's been a while since I created an extension from scratch. I think that's correct. I hope. Okay, let's see. Let's try again. Yeah. I must admit, I wonder how licensing would work for an extensions pack. Interesting. Let's come back to that. Packaged. All right. I swear I'm going to need to log in at some point, but so we're going to run into issues. Yeah, this is interesting because I normally set a version number. This example here is not showing the version. It's the version based in the package JSON. That's it. Maybe the commands have changed. I kind of got into the habit of just using the ones I know. Yes, for now. Missing publisher name. All right, fine. I thought there were things missing. It would be helpful to spell it right, wouldn't it? I think this needs to be what matches to something, but I can't. I'll just repackage that. Yes. There we go. I will publish that later because that is possibly going to take me a while to find and probably not going to be very interesting to watch. And it also gives me the potential of exposing personal information that is not useful to expose. So let's come back to that. So let's just do it from local instead. So we do already have that VSIX file here. There we go. All right, brilliant. So the VSIX should be available shared. You can just copy it over, actually. This is the advantage of doing this on a virtual machine. I get a lot more opportunities open to me. There we go. Okay, so now what's the shortcut on Windows? That. There we go. Install from VSIX. Desktop. Access Toolkit. Drum roll. All right. Something happened. And there we go. Of course, what I am... here we go. So here's the... there we go. That's odd. Why didn't you see that on the store page? Now, of course, this is not going to work, though. This is the problem. Veil is not going to work because there is a binary dependency. But just out of interest, I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, it's enabled, but it doesn't seem to run. So that's interesting. that's kind of hard to test. I mean, I don't think I want to go through the whole process of installing the dependencies for this to see. And the word counter, oh no, the word counter is working. It's hard to see. I can't really zoom in on this, but it's right down here. So it is working. Okay, well, it worked. That sort of special extension that has an external dependency obviously requires a little bit more thought, and I'm not 100% sure what the best practice is, but it works. So yeah, it still won't go away. I'll just move that over to my other screen. All right, so it worked. Creating the actual extension pack was quicker than testing it, as we discovered. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I guess it always installs latest, which could be a problem. I mean, in theory, is kind of how VS Code works. It doesn't really have a concept of having a version. It's not like NPM. So I think just because it looks like an NPM file in a JavaScript project, it's not, sort of not. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, really. That's basically it. I don't really see anything else we can do. Depending on another extension, I didn't really come across that as a. So that's pretty much it. Not the most complicated of tasks. Useful, I think. The testing side of it is the difficult one. It doesn't really have any way to do it without installing it, which is, as you can see, potentially difficult because you'd need lots of virtual machines and things like that. But I guess I will continue to maintain this one. I will update in the published video on YouTube when it's actually published, when I figured out my VS Code store key, which I will need because I need to update some extensions I actually actively maintain. So I will find that out and let people know in the final video, which you'll be able to find on YouTube. And that's a nice short one. We can wrap up there. If you've enjoyed the video, you can find more about me at christianschiller.com. Subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment wherever you watch this. I will be back next week making an extension for Raycast and how I made an actual live extension that works. And it sneak preview, it was a very nice process. So you look forward to watching that next week live and then the recorded version when that comes out. And thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you all next week. Take care, everybody.